But one should not be attached to those things that the family does that are not Krishna conscious. Like, for example, my family that I was born into was not Krishna conscious. So I didn't know that when I was growing up. But when I became Krishna conscious, I realized that they were not Krishna conscious. They were eating meat and doing all kinds of things like that. So did I hate my family? No. I always remained respectful, and I always did my duty as a son, but I was not attached to the family traditions, like eating meat, drinking, beer, and other things like that, and talking nonsense and so forth. So if you're Krishna conscious, you don't act mean to your family and say, "Oh, you're not Krishna conscious, I'm not going to talk to you anymore." That's not right. You should be more respectful, but not participate in activities that are not Krishna conscious. Like, for example, after I became Krishna conscious, one time one of my uncles came to visit me, and this was in Paris, and at that time he had some other relatives that were related to us, so he was staying with them, and he invited me to come and visit them for dinner. Now, I knew that they would have meat, so I brought a plate of prasadam, a big plate of prasadam with me. And when we all sat down at the dinner table, my uncle put a big piece of meat on my plate, purposely. And he gave me a little tumbler of whiskey. And he said, "Now we're going to have a toast. Everyone lift their drink." So I also lifted it, right? And he said some nonsense words and said, "Okay, now we'll drink," So I just looked at it and I put it back down without drinking it. He said, "Why didn't you drink it?" I said, "Well, I did accept your toast, but I don't drink liquor." He said, "What, you used to drink liquor. Why don't you drink liquor? It's our tradition." I said, "I don't like to drink liquor." He said, "Okay, then eat the meat." I said, "I don't like to eat meat. I brought some holy food from our temple." He said, "That's not holy." "Well, you think it's not holy, but I know it's holy." He said, "Eat the meat. You used to eat meat. You eat with us. This is your family." I said, I don't eat meat anymore. It doesn't mean I don't love my family. I'm still here. He said, no. You're a traitor to your family, to your religion, and to your nation. I said, "Well, I'm sorry you feel like that." So, he was really pressuring me. But I didn't budge. I said, "Well, why don't you have a little bit of this prasadam?" He said, "No, you eat meat, I'll eat some of your food." I said, "No, that's not going to work like that." So this uncle, 1 year later, he died of cancer. Right? Because he was a very stubborn man and he's very one-minded. So then later on, when my mother was getting very old, my brothers put her in a nursing home, and because they couldn't take care of her anymore. When I heard that, I flew all the way back to our house. I went to the nursing home, took my mother out, and brought her here to Seattle, and took care of her myself. Why? Because I felt it was my duty to do that. And my mother was like a devotee. She had her chanting beads. She wouldn't chant 16 rounds, but she would chant 1 or 2 rounds every day. And she was a very simple lady, and she was very kind. So therefore I did my duty as a son, but I didn't partake of the family traditions that are not Krishna conscious. So when it's, in other words, we should always be respectful to our parents, but if they're not Krishna conscious, we have no obligation to follow their, let's say, bad habits. So that's what it means here. And it says, in this age of Kali, the process of hearing Krishna Katha is the most effective means to gain release from unwanted family affection and thus find permanent freedom in life. So one time there was a wedding a long time ago, and at the beginning of the wedding, a bird fell down dead out of the sky and landed right in the middle of the wedding. And when that happened, the grandfather of the family said, "Halt! Stop everything." And then he slowly took his hat off and walked very slowly toward the dead bird, put the hat on top of the dead bird's body, then raised his hand and said, "Now proceed with the wedding." So they proceeded with the wedding. So the boy and girl got married. Years later, when their grown-up child was going to get married, they asked the boy, they said, well, he was a man, they said, the father said, "How should we organize the wedding?" He said, "Well, you have to have a dead bird." They said, "Really?" He said, "Yes, it's a tradition in our family. When I got married, my father arranged a dead bird." And then secondly, he said, "And you have to have a big hat. I still have the same hat my father wore, so I'll wear the hat because I'm the father now. And then before the wedding starts, I have to raise my hand and say, 'Halt! Stop everything.' And I have to take my hat off very solemnly like this and put it in front of me and walk slowly toward the dead bird and put it on the bird, and then I raised my hand and said, 'Okay, proceed with the wedding.'" He said, "This is our tradition." Is that a tradition? No, it's full of nonsense, complete nonsense, right? The Krishna too now is speculating. He's making a speculative explanation. They didn't want to have bad luck, that's why they covered the bird. No, that's not why they covered the bird. They covered the bird because it was a silly idea. Why didn't they take the bird away? Why did they cover the bird? It's a dead bird. You know, if you want to get rid of something auspicious, you take it away. Anyway, you see, many traditions in families are like that. You know, like the tradition in my family was every Sunday we would have chicken. If there was no chicken, there was no meal. You had to have a chicken, right? And then it has to be a toast, you know, with a little bit of whiskey. You know, is that a bona fide tradition? No, it's nonsense. So you remain respectful, but you don't. Once you become Krishna conscious, you don't have to follow all those traditions. Just like one devotee lady came to me and said, "Oh, Prabhu, my uncle just died in India, and I got a phone call from my family in India, and they told me I shouldn't go to the temple, I shouldn't chant Hare Krishna, I shouldn't do any service for 3 months. What should I do?" I said, if you were not Krishna conscious, then you have to follow that. But because you're Krishna conscious, you don't have to follow that. Those type of things, I told her, those are for people who are not Krishna conscious, who every day they're committing sinful activities. So therefore, they have different rules for such people, as you know, lower order dharmic principles. But for a devotee, every day he's chanting, he's doing service. He doesn't have to follow rules like that. Under no circumstances should you stop chanting or stop doing your service or stop coming to the temple. You know, that's only for sinful people who are not Krishna conscious. They have to follow those lower order rules. So you'll see that there are many traditions, there are many religious principles that are followed in Hinduism, but devotees don't have to follow any of those things. Okay. So to settle this question of affection for family, one should be affectionate to the family. Just like I took the trouble of taking care of my mother, taking her out of a nursing home, because it was out of respect and affection. But that doesn't mean I also have to drink wine and beer and chicken, eat chicken and all those other things. Those things are not Krishna conscious. So too much affection for the family. What was Arjuna's problem in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Hari. Is that the answer? Microphone. No ums and so forth.
He didn't want to kill in the war because he saw all his relatives and all his grandfather, his cousins, and all that.
Yes. So, is that a valid reason to reject Krishna's order? No. Krishna's order is superior to everything else. So Krishna told him that these family members that were on the other side, they were already dead. Krishna already planned that they would die. And the question was, will Arjuna become an instrument of Krishna's will, or will he not? Will he disobey Krishna's order? So that's a test. It's a test. Just like a policeman. Let's say you're in your house and a thief comes in and is choking your wife in the bedroom, right? And you're in the living room, right? Yes, let's say you're older now, Advait, and you have married, and you have a house, and some man comes in your house as a thief, and he's choking your wife like this. So you call the police. The policeman comes. He said, "Yes, sir. What's the matter?" I said, "The thief is in the bedroom and he's choking my wife." He said, "Okay." So he takes his gun out like this. He said, "Where's the bedroom?" He said, "It's right over there." I said, "Okay, you stay here. I'll be right back." So he walks carefully to the bedroom, opens the door, goes in. Then he comes back out, puts the gun in his holster. And the voice said, "So what happened?" He said, "Well, I went in the room, I had my gun, but I saw that the thief is my brother. And before my mother died, I promised her I would never hurt my brother. So I put the gun back in my holster. I'll call another policeman." So Advait, do you accept that? No. No, then you would, no, then they would arrest you. No. So you see, that's complete nonsense. That it's my brother. Who cares? It's your brother. You're supposed to protect people. It doesn't matter your brother, your father, your uncle, or whatever. If he's choking somebody's wife, you have to go in there and protect her, right? So did he do the right thing? No. And so that's exactly the same with Arjuna. It doesn't matter that members of his family are on the other side. He has to follow the principles of Dharma, and above all, he has to follow Krishna's order. Right? So, normally, we should be very respectful to our family members. But if our family members turn out to be demons, then we have no obligation to them. But if they change, then we're obligated again. Right? So my family members were demons, but because they saw that I always remained respectful to them, never got angry, and I was always kind, they began to take an interest in Krishna consciousness. Now the worst thing to do is to become a fanatic. What is a fanatic? Anybody know what a fanatic is? Krishna one. That's not an answer. What's a fanatic?
I don't know.
Okay, that's good. That's an honest answer. Thank you. Omar, do you know what a fanatic is? Yeah, you give an example. Microphone.
For example, I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim and I don't speak to you because you're a different religion. And oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay. Fanatic. What I had in my head. Fanatic.
Okay, a fanatic is a person who irrationally follows rules in an extreme way. Like, for example, one time, when I first joined Krishna consciousness, a devotee asked me, how many times a day are you passing stool? I said, I'm passing stool maybe 2-3 times a day. Oh, you're not Krishna conscious. I said, what do you mean? So you're only allowed to pass stool once a day, and it's at 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, really? I said, what do you do if you have to pass stool before that? I said, you have to hold it in. Otherwise, you're a demon. I said, okay. I was just a brand new devotee. I didn't know. So he scared me. So that day, I held it in. And then every morning we would wake up around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we were living in a temple where there was only one bathroom and about 30 brahmacharis. So you had to queue up in the morning. And then when you did go in to the toilet, as soon as you closed the door, someone would knock on the door, hurry up, like that, because there's 30 people waiting, right? So I had to wait, and I had a headache because, I had to pass stool. I hadn't passed stool for a whole day now. I was waiting. So I go in. As soon as I go in and lock the door, they're banging on the door, hurry up, hurry up. I got so much anxiety I couldn't pass stool. So I came out, and now I had to wait till the next day. So after 3 days, I went to the temple president. I said, Prabhuji, I think I have to leave. He said, why? I said, I can't follow the regulative principles. I said, really? Which one you can't follow? Is it gambling? I said, no, it's not that. He said, is it meat eating? I said, no, it's not that. He said, is it intoxication? I said, no, it's not that. He said, is it illicit sex? I said, no, it's not that. He said, what? Then what is it? I said, it's the rule about this passing stool only once a day at 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, what? He said, who told you that? I said, well, so-and-so told me that. He said, that's complete nonsense. I said, really? You mean I can pass stool anytime I want? He said, yes, you can. It doesn't mean you're not Krishna conscious. So you see how sometimes people become fanatic. Now, why did that person tell me that? Because Prabhupada has said that if you pass stool once a day, you're a yogi. If you pass stool twice a day, you're a bogi. And if you pass stool 3 times a day, you're a rogi. So, yogi, bogi, rogi.
Yogi, bogi, and yogi.
No, yogi, bogi, rogi. Yeah. So if you pass stool once a day, you're a yogi, right? You have control of your body. If you pass stool twice a day, you're a bogi. You're not a yogi, you're a bogi, meaning you're not bona fide yogi, right? If you pass stool 3 times a day, you're a rogi, meaning you have some sickness, right? So you take that statement, add to it a large measure of fanaticism, And you have this idiot that's going around telling everyone you're only allowed to pass till 4 o'clock in the morning. You see? And that creates a lot of misery, right? And then I was ready to leave Krishna consciousness because I thought I couldn't follow the regulative principles. So that's what fanaticism is. People make up rules that are impossible to follow, and it makes it so that no one can become Krishna conscious. So you don't want to be a fanatic. Now, one devotee became a fanatic. He told his mother and father, who were nice people, very nice people, and they were devotees also. He told them, if you don't surrender to Guru Dev, sell your house, sell your car, and give everything to Guru Dev, and then come and live in the ashram, and daddy, you have to live with the brahmacharis, and mommy, you have to live with the brahmacharinis. Otherwise, I'm not your son anymore. Now, I'm telling you the truth. This is a true story. He told his mother and father were devastated, And fortunately, they didn't listen to him, right? 2 years later, that devotee blooped meaning he left Krishna consciousness and took up all kinds of nonsense activities, even till today, right? So that's what happens when you become a fanatic. Is that a normal thing? Would you tell your mother and father, you have to sell everything and move into the temple and give everything? How can they do that? Huh? Yes, of course it's not. And he himself left Krishna consciousness 2 years after, because he was a fanatic. See, you cannot. So we're not supposed to fanatically follow anything. You should always get advice from a genuine teacher, a genuine Siksha guru, to understand things properly. So you don't go home today and say, what did I learn in the temple today? I learned that we shouldn't love our family. Is that what we learned today? No. Did I tell you don't love your family? I didn't say that. I said, this is talking about unwanted family affection. So that's why Arjuna refused to follow Krishna's order. He had unwanted family affection. He had a misconception in his mind that his family is more important than Krishna's instructions and Krishna's order. And that's not true. However, if your family is Krishna conscious, that's an ideal situation. Prabhupada has even said, if your family is Krishna conscious, the husband doesn't even have to take sannyas. He's already a sannyasi, living a full Krishna conscious life. Okay, so any questions so far? We will quickly end, but we want to read the second page. Who has the second page? Okay, you read it. My second page disappeared.
Read the verse.
Yeah, read it out loud, real quick.
Translation of verse.
Translation.
O great Supreme Lord, often shows his internal vision.
Wait a minute. Get the microphone. Where's the microphone? And speak loudly.
O great Supreme Lord, offensive persons whose internal vision has been too affected by external materialistic activities cannot see your lotus feet, but they're seen by your pure devotees, whose one and only aim is to transcendently enjoy your activities. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, the Lord stayed in everyone's heart. It's natural.
Lord is situated in everyone's heart.
The Lord is situated in everyone's heart. It's natural that one should be able to see the Lord at least within himself, but that is not possible for those whose internal vision has been covered by external activities.
Whose internal vision has been covered by external activities. That means that if you're engaged in too many nonsense activities, talking nonsense, doing nonsense, you will not be able to see Krishna within your heart. Impossible. Go ahead. The pure soul.
The pure soul, which is symptomized by consciousness, can be easily perceived even by a common man because consciousness is spread all over the body. The yoga system is recommended in Bhagavad Gita.
The yoga system,
The yoga
which is
system, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita, is to concentrate the mental activities internally and thus see the lotus view of the Lord within oneself. But there are many so-called yogis who have no concern with the Lord but are only concerned with consciousness, which they accept as a final realization. Such realization of consciousness is taught by Bhagavad Gita within only a few minutes, whereas the so-called yogis take continuous years to realize it because of their offense of the Lord with the Lord. The greatest offense is to deny the existence of the Lord as separate from the individual souls, or to accept the Lord and the individual soul as one and the same. The impersonalists misinterpret the
you're blurring your words.
The impersonalists misinterpret the theory of reflection, and thus they wrongly accept the individual consciousness as the supreme consciousness.
Okay, so the theory of reflection is, let's say you have 1,000 pots of water in a field at 12 o'clock on a day where there are no clouds and the sun is shining brightly. What would you see in each pot? What? What? No. That's the wrong answer, Mayapur. What will you see in each pot? Water? Wrong answer. Yes, Kushi. No, wrong answer. Yes. Yeah, you would see the sun reflected in each pot. Does that mean the sun is in each pot? No. So the Mayavadis, they say that the Brahman is everywhere present. And therefore, if you become Brahman conscious, then you can merge into the Brahman. Or there are other types of impersonalists that say that Krishna is in your heart, therefore you are Krishna. Both of those theories is wrong, but many people believe them. So they talk about consciousness. If you meditate enough, you become God. Is that true? No, it's not true. But most Hindus believe that. Yes.
If someone says that to you, how would you respond to them? Like, they say if you practice yoga and do all this meditation, you'll become God. How would you tell them that it's not true and that this is the right thing?
Yes. You have to follow the great authorities. Did Arjuna was meditating on Krishna all the time. Did he become Krishna? No. Hanuman was meditating on Lord Rama all the time. Did he become Lord Rama? No. So where is there an example of a jiva that becomes God in history? Is there one example? Bhisma Pitamaha was meditating on Krishna. Did he become Krishna?
But they might say that, like when you take some random Mayavadi person, they might say that because he meditated, now he's able to make something or make something new. They can do those things. That's their proof they use.
Well, someone is ignorant, but they get educated and they're able to become a carpenter. Does that mean they became God? Just because they were ignorant before and they were educated to become a carpenter or an IT guy, does that mean he became God just by education? That's because they don't understand what is the meaning of God. Okay, what differentiates Krishna as God? One is Sad Aishwarya Purna. What does that mean? Sad Aishwarya Purna.
He's full of all 6 opulences.
Yes, full of 6 opulences. What does Asta Siddhi Purna mean? Wait a minute. You know? You know? You don't. Come on. You know. We went over this so much. Look it up in your notes. Okay, Omar.
Oh, so
Asta Siddhi Purna.
so he.
What does the word Purna mean? Complete. Yeah.
So one city he could.
No. What are the cities? Just say what the cities are.
Well, there are different mystic powers, or
Yes.
Yeah.
So Krishna is Asta Siddhi Purna. Asta means what? What number is that? So he has all 8 cities to perfection. He has all 6 opulences to perfection. Then number 3, he is Aja. Yes, Shivani. What's Aja mean? No, Aja means he has incredible power to put people in illusion. Asta Siddhi Purna, siddhis, the 8 mystic powers. Aja means that he can bewilder anyone. So, did he bewilder Lord Shiva? Yes. How? As Mohini Murti. Did he bewilder Lord Brahma? Yes. What did he do? What? What did he do? Stole the cowherd boys. Yeah. Yeah. So Brahma stole the cowherd boys, and Krishna expanded himself as the cowherd boys and cows. So Krishna can bewilder anyone. He can bewilder Durga Mata, who's in charge of the illusory energy. He can bewilder Shiva, who's the husband of Durga, meaning he's the lord of Durga. He can bewilder Brahma, who's the secondary creator of the whole material universe. So no one has that power. It's called Aja. No one has all the 8 mystic opulence and mystic powers in full. No one has all the 6 opulences in full. So someone who doesn't know this, they think that by doing some meditation they can become Krishna. On top of all that, Krishna controls time. Krishna controls the laws of material nature, the 3 modes of material nature. He controls the laws of karma. He has mutually contradictory qualities. What does that mean? Mutually contradictory qualities. You know, Omar? Say it out. Let's give him the microphone.
means he's equal to everybody?
No.
No, I mean, not.
Mutually contradictory qualities. Mayapur.
Anybody he wants.
What?
He can be anybody he wants. Like he can like change into like
Not really. I mean, he can do that, but that's not the answer. Yes, Krishna.
He can reject. He can reject things, and reject while bewildering, like he did to Brahma. He expanded his cows, then he. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yes, Prabhu. Oh, good try, Krishna. Good try.
Mutually contradicted means, like, for example, Krishna is everywhere and Krishna is nowhere. Like,
No, that's not true. What do you mean Krishna is nowhere?
nowhere means Krishna is in his personal form in the Goloka Vrindavan, but still Krishna is everywhere as well.
Then how can he be nowhere?
That is wrong statement.
That is nonsense, right? Yeah. No, yes. Microphone. Give me a microphone. Hari is doing good service here.
Does it mean that Krishna is no different from his body than the soul?
Yes, well, it's not mutually contradictory. That would be mutually, what you would say, not contradictory. You're saying there's no difference between his body and his soul, right? No, mutually contradictory. What does contradictory mean? Yes. No, that's not. Don't say nowhere. Yes. Contradictory. Let's just stick to English. What does contradictory mean? Yes. 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 Nitin?
Maybe like a debatable topic. That's contradictory.
That's one aspect of the word, yes, but we're looking for the meaning. Contradictory means two opposites, as she said, right? Hare Krishna. Shishirada Nilamadava Ki Jai. So, two opposites. For example, Krishna is far away, but he is very near at the same time. Krishna is bigger than the biggest, but he's smaller than the smallest. Those are mutually means together. Contradictory means opposite. No one else can do that. To be bigger than the biggest, yes, he's a Virat Rupa. It contains the whole material creation. And he's smaller than the smallest. He's in the heart of the soul. The soul is already 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. And he's in the heart of the soul, which means he's smaller than the individual soul. So he's bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. He's far away, but yet very near. He's in Goloka Vrindavan enjoying with the cowherd boys, but at the same time he's in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma. These are called mutually contradictory qualities. No one else can equal Krishna in that respect. No one else has Sad Aishwarya Purna, complete, has the six opulences completely. What are the six opulences?
Beauty, fame, knowledge, renunciation, wisdom, and beauty, fame, knowledge, wisdom.
No, there's not knowledge and wisdom. There's knowledge.
Beauty, fame, knowledge, renunciation, wealth, and strength.
Yes, six. And then he has Asta Siddhi Purna, the 8 mystic perfections. Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, and so forth. Right? So, nobody can equal that. Not Lord Shiva cannot, Brahma cannot. Also, he has 64 transcendental qualities. How many qualities does Narayana have? 60. Krishna has 4 extra. What are those 4? You know what those 4 are? Well, 1, he plays the flute. Does Narayana play the flute? No. 2, Krishna's beauty enchants everyone and everything. 3, Krishna is surrounded by devotees who have incredible love for him. Intimate and incredible love. Okay. And number 4. Let me get number 4 here. Okay, let me see where it is. Anyway, he has 4 qualities that Narayana does not have. That doesn't mean Narayana is different than Krishna, because Narayana is an expansion of Krishna. But Krishna has what you would call the sweetest of the sweet qualities. It's a difference in sweetness, not a difference of a person. Just like when Nitin is with his mother and father, he acts in a certain way. When Nitin is in a sleepover at Hari's house, he acts in a different way. Is that true or false? Right? And when Nitin is in school, again, he acts in a different way. So, Krishna, when he appears as Narayana, is worshipped with awe and reverence, highly ritualized. Yes?
What's the difference between Krishna and Narayana?
These 4 extra sweet qualities. He plays the flute. His beauty is so charming. Everyone is charmed by it. And he's surrounded by incredible loving devotees. The extent of their love for Krishna is beyond imagination.
Don't you also kind of think that Krishna and Narayana are the same because they think Krishna is Narayana is his expansion?
Well, listen, when you're with your mother and father, you act in a certain way. Do you act in a certain way when you're with your friends?
Yeah.
Same way. Do you ever use the word dude with your friends? Do you use the word dude when you address your father and mother? So you're acting differently. You see what I mean? You're acting differently. Is that true also, Nitin? Do you use the word dude with your friends? Yeah. How about with your mother and father? How about with your teacher? Do you say, hey, dude, I got a question to ask you? So you see, you're acting differently. So the relationship with Narayana is a little different than the relationship with Krishna. It's a difference of sweetness. It's not that they're different people. You're not a different person when you're with your mother and father or when you're with your friends, but there's a difference in the way you act, right? So when you say, hey, dude, like it's, a little bit of funny thing and a little bit of a cool thing to say, right? So the difference is in sweetness. Nothing is sweeter than Krishna playing his flute, or the beauty of Krishna is totally enchanting. Now, Narayana is also beautiful. Now, how do we know this? When Krishna left the Rasa Leela dance, and then when he left Radharani hanging on a branch of a tree, the gopis and Radharani were running through the forest trying to find Krishna. And Krishna played a trick on them. He appeared in front of them as Narayana. What did the gopis do? Okay, Krishna won, and Pranay. Will you become Krishna conscious by having a sword fight with your pencils? Okay, so, and wait, will you become Krishna conscious by flipping your pen up in the air? Okay, so triple filter test. Will this help me become Krishna conscious? Answer? Answer? Is it yes or no? No. Okay, so then, should you do it or should you not do it? Okay, thank you very much. So, triple filter test. So now, what did the gopis do when they saw Narayana in the middle of the forest? Huh? No. Yeah, I think they bowed down. Well, they bowed down and they kept looking for Krishna. They were not interested in him. They were not interested in him. They were looking for Krishna. They were not looking for Narayana. Although they were respectful to Narayana. But they bowed down and they just quickly left looking for Krishna. So that proves that there's something overwhelmingly enchanting about Krishna. Not that Narayana is not enchanting or not beautiful, he's gorgeous, but there's this element of this sweetness. Something can be sweet, something can be sweeter, and something can be sweetest. Right? So you have sweet, sweeter, sweetest. Krishna is sweetest in every way. Okay, so we'll stop right there. take these 2 sheets home, read them. And if next week you can't remember anything from the class today, what is the explanation? This is the last point.